It's a funny thing because it means a lot of different things for a lot of different people. So I think the first thing I would say to a woman who thinks, I really don't feel loved, admired, or appreciated by my husband, my first question would be, how would you feel loved, admired, or appreciated? It can't be just like a nebulous thing. You have to actually know, what could the person be doing, saying, or responding to you in what way? What are you actually talking about? When I usually ask women that question, a lot of times they don't have an answer to that. It's just they're responding to a feeling in them, but they don't know what that feeling really is. So I'll say, do you need to have more conversation? Are you hoping he'll compliment you more? Do you need him to encourage you in something that you're doing right now? What is it? I think that women can forget that we really are, as much as I think that there's a lot of similarities with men and women, I think it's foolish to not recognize that there's significant differences in the way that we've been wired and created. One of the things that women have been wired to do for the most part is that they're generally more emotionally intuitive. Now, that's not true across the board. It's not true for every single woman, but there's actual brain studies that have been done on women's emotional intuitiveness. The brain, the physical structures and the way that it works is actually different. So if you're more emotionally intuitive, who is going to know first when there is an issue between you? Who's going to be able to put their finger on what's going on? It's probably going to be you. So to assume that your husband is intentionally trying to not appreciate you is not really giving him the benefit of the doubt. Instead, maybe you could assume that he is not adept at that language, that perhaps you're a little better at that language than he is, and that this is an opportunity to not scold him, not nag, not manipulate, but to say, hey, something that would help me is, and then to give an actual specific thing that would help you. If you would be helped by a date where you can talk to each other, I just recognized recently that there's a certain restaurant and a date together for my husband and I. If we go to this restaurant that we both love, if we go just the two of us and don't invite any friends, and we sit down, and we usually have a great conversation. Now, do I wait for him to know that in my heart I'm wishing that we had that, or do I call and make the reservation, get the babysitter, and say, hey, next Thursday night, let's go to this restaurant? That's giving him the benefit of the doubt and appreciating that I understand what I need. I know a little bit of what usually helps me get what I need, and so I'm not going to just nag him about it. I'm going to take steps to help create the environment where that can happen. I don't know why, as women, we don't do that more. I don't know if we're thinking that they should just figure that out and that is our love language, but if your love language is your husband figuring it out without you telling him, I would encourage you to find another love language. That's probably not the best one, and give him the benefit of the doubt. I remember an older woman at our church who was teaching at a women's ministry that I love, and she gave the example of having to teach her husband how to give her a hug. And she was basically walking through being like, this is how a hug feels good to me. And I thought, there's something about that that's really sweet. You don't do it in a scolding or patronizing way. It was just, you're not a touchy-feely guy, and I'm kind of a touchy-feely girl, so I need you to give me a hug like this. That makes me feel really good, To enter into a relationship, you have a lifetime together. Both of you will grow and change and be better people if you'll allow that to happen through your marriage, and totally jettison the thought that you married the wrong person. That's just, don't think about that. Just, you married the right person. So you're the right two people to be together. Now, what are you going to do to help both of you grow into something better than you were before? If you do that, you're going to look back. It's going to be 15 years in or 20 years in, and you're going to be like, wow, this has been really rich, and we are really different than when we started, And it's a really amazing expression of something that God's given us to enjoy in our lives.